GM is finally waving goodbye to EVs. After years of trying to feed us with impractical and expensive vehicles that nobody wants, Mary Barra has decided to turn a new leaf for GM. Instead of following completely delusional trends, GM will be returning to what the working man wants: reliable, affordable, and properly capable internal combustion vehicles. So let's not waste any time as we witness a return to form, as GM CEO just revealed 5 new models for 2025 and shocks the entire car industry. Number 5. GMC Tera. After the breakneck success of the Ford Maverick, it's only logical that many other car companies would go on and try to create their version of a compact pickup truck. GM is no different, and as of 2025, will be welcoming their all-new GMC Tera. Those of you who are GM fans might know that the GMC Tera nameplate was used 2 decades back for a concept pickup truck of the same type as this one. However, back then, the market was not as hot as it is today for compact pickup trucks. Now, speaking of the modern rendition of the GMC Tera, this new compact pickup truck will essentially share its formula with the Ford Maverick. It'll be a unibody, crossover-based pickup truck that will be extremely affordable to purchase. Emphasis on the extremely affordable part. You see, the Ford Maverick, despite being cheap, is still not cheap enough for most of us, especially considering how often dealers tend to mark up its price. Well, that's exactly where the GMC Tera will hop in. It will be based on the GMC Terrain, which is GMC's compact crossover. However, unlike it, it will go through a ton of cost-cutting measures. The interior will be made out of harder plastics. LED lights will be replaced with halogens for the lower trim levels, all while retaining its general shape, which will make it both more attractive than the Ford Maverick and, ironically enough, cheaper to produce, because it will share a lot of its body parts altogether. As a result, the GMC Tera will cost somewhere between $22,000 and $24,000, which is noticeably less than the Ford Maverick. However, interestingly enough, the top-of-the-line model is expected to be more expensive than the Maverick, as it will use the same interior as the GMC Terrain, which currently offers one of the better interiors in the compact crossover segment. However, we've been lying to you. The GMC Tera won't be made on the GMC Terrain, at least not the current generation, which leads us to the next entry on our list. Number 4. GMC Terrain. The current generation of the GMC Terrain has become very stale, as it is, after all, a 7-year-old model. Therefore, GMC has decided to hit 2 birds with 1 stone and introduce both the GMC Terrain and the GMC Tera together in 2025. The new GMC Terrain will, by all means, be an evolution of the current model, and by that, we mean that it will retain a high level of interior quality, as well as solid levels of comfort. However, what the new generation will improve upon is technology. You see, the outgoing GMC Terrain has been considered quite conservative in this regard, especially since it did not offer a hybrid variation, at a time when hybrids have become the norm, particularly in this segment. As a result, the new generation will introduce not just a hybrid, but also a plug-in hybrid from the get-go. Both variations will be powered by the 1.5-liter Turbo 4 engine found in the Chevy Equinox, which the Terrain will share its platform with. The regular, non-hybrid version will be offered with the same 1.5-liter 2, which is an all-too new engine for us to assess. However, as of right now, it seems that it has proven to be a relatively reliable unit. All of these powertrains will also translate to the previously mentioned GMC Tera. However, it will also be offered with GM's 2.0 Turbo 4 engine that'll push out around 240 horsepower. This engine is, essentially, the detuned version of the unit found in the recently departed Chevy Camaro. Hey, the Camaro! That reminds us. Number 3. Chevrolet Camaro. The legend is back, and much sooner than expected. GM has recognized that the market for pony and muscle cars is far from gone. The new Camaro and the new Dodge Charger, as pathetic as it is, show GM that their hasty decision to discontinue the Camaro has come a full circle to bite them in the bottom. As a result, in 2025, we can expect the return of the much-adored symbol of Americana. The new Chevy Camaro will, in its base form, come with the previously mentioned 2.0 Turbo 4, However, this time it'll push out upwards of 300 horsepower, as it will now be fitted with a second turbocharger that will allow it to remain very elastic at lower RPMs, while increasing its torque too. This will undoubtedly be as close as an i4 can come to a proper muscle car. That said, if you're up for true muscle car performance, then the 3.6-liter twin-turbo V6, which will push upwards of 500 horsepower, should do the trick. This engine will be the replacement for the 5.0-liter V8 that was previously used in the Camaro. And as much as we're sad to hear these, we're still glad that we'll be getting a proper power plant instead of some stupid hybrid or something like that. That said, the range-topping ZL1 will see the return of the V8, which will this time be borrowed from the Corvette Z06. The 5.5-liter V8 will push around 670 horsepower, making it a literal nightmare for both the Mustang and that sorry excuse that calls itself the Charger. Number 2. GMC Cyclone. The Ford Maverick is definitely a good vehicle. However, it is by far nowhere near as practical as most of us would like. The simple truth is that the Maverick would have been ideal for tradesmen and craftsmen if it offered an extended or single cab, offering a larger truck bed instead of rear seats. And this is exactly what GMC will try and cash in on. With the revival of the GMC Cyclone nameplate, GM will have essentially offered a two-door version of the GMC Tera, albeit with some practical differences. The GMC Cyclone will be much more focused as a vehicle, as it will ditch that fake off-road ability that crossovers and other compact pickup trucks have for a more rigid chassis that will allow it both better composition on the road as well as higher towing and payload capacity. This will, by all means, be a properly capable and work-oriented compact pickup truck, which is really refreshing to see, especially in this sea of poser vehicles. Oh, and do not worry, there will be a performance version, just like the original. We expect to see the same 300 horsepower twin-turbo inline-4 engine that we've previously mentioned with the Camaro, and the price tag shouldn't be much different compared to the Tera either. In fact, the base model should only be cheaper to buy. Number 1. Chevrolet Avalanche. Well, this is interesting. You see, GM is willing to play by Maverick's book with the GMC Tera. However, they're also intending to create their own game with the Chevrolet Avalanche. How, you might ask? Well, simple. By offering a mid-sized pickup truck that costs the same as the Maverick. You see, GM has recognized that the Ford Maverick, as good as it is, always felt very indecisive about what it wanted to be. As a result, it wanted to please both those of us who were looking for a practical workhorse and a good family vehicle, making it very mediocre in both regards. The truth is simple. The truck feels far overstretched because of its compact platform, and this is exactly what Chevrolet intends to correct. You see, at its core, the Avalanche will remain true to the Maverick's formula. That is, severe cost-cutting measures and an overall focus on making the vehicle as approachable as possible. However, it will share its platform with the Chevy Traverse, which is a considerably larger vehicle than the minuscule Ford Escape. This means that you can expect a truck bed that is at least 5 feet long, probably even more, while having a second row that is not only decent, but properly spacious. And the best thing is that the price of this vehicle won't be much different compared to the Maverick. You see, the entry model of the Chevy Avalanche will be stripped of all aesthetics and luxuries. The base model will be offered with unpainted bumpers, steelies, manual AC, and a small touchscreen. The interior will also be completely bare bones, with the rear seats coming not with electric windows, but with manually operated ones. Sure, this means that the higher trim levels will slowly grow to be more expensive than the Maverick. However, if you're looking for a do-it-all vehicle that is completely no compromise, then we'd argue that adding a couple of grand atop $30,000 plus is very much worth it. Essentially, 2025 will be a pivotal year, not just for GM, but for Ford too. As with it, Ford will now offer 3 better alternatives to the Maverick. Oh, well, as they say, every dog has its day, and Maverick's day seems to be coming much sooner than we expected.